Hello. How's it going? I was ridiculously late, and now I'm perfectly on time. How's it going? How's it going? All right, I'm just kind of arranging my screens here because I have the instructions pulled up. Ooh, I don't want that. And I still need to make my cheat sheets. We're going to do that together. Hello, hello. Hi, Diane. You are early. Hey, Margaret. Hey, Mullen. Welcome. Hi, Aisha. Hey, Shem. Shem's here. Wizard is never late. Hey, Julie. How's it going? Hey, Blair. How are you all? Okay, I was doing my little, sound check. I realized my, face cam thing was so large in proportion to the rest of the screen, so I made it a lot smaller. Does that look okay? Because I just want a little bit there. I don't want a lot. You know what I mean? I want it to be more about the sewing, you know? And on my screen in my thing, proportionally it looked okay. And then when I was looking at it, I was like, did this get larger? How did that happen? Hey, Terry, how's it going? All right, so I'm just writing my instructions. I do this usually before every stream. This kind of, this is funny because I was about to say, this is really great for anyone doing sewing a project because it forces you to sort of skim the instructions first and then make a bulleted list, right? And what's great about this is that you start kind of training yourself to be like, okay, I know what's next. And I can sew this any way I want as long as all the elements are the same, right? You can hardly see me. That's enough for you, Julie. Calm down. Did I make it larger on purpose? Well, tell me what you guys like, you know. But this is funny because I was just telling you guys a story the other day where I told my mom used to make me, when we would make baking mixes from a box as a kid, and she would let me do it. Invariably, I'd forget something and ruin it. And, you know, she was probably really excited about having a treat. And so she instituted this rule where I had to read the instructions through twice before I started. This is kind of like doing that. Hello, Michelle. How's it going? All right, so the first thing is interfacing. And then the front pockets. So I think that I'm going to cut my front yokes double to finish that yoke seam since I didn't give myself enough to flat fellet. I probably could enclose it, but I don't want to overlock at all. So I'm kind of thinking that would be a nice finish. And I barely have enough fabric for it. So usually when I sew something, I would say, oh, you make pieces whole. You make your fronts whole, you make your backs whole. And so it looks like this is how this is shaping up. Oh, the hanging loops from the back yoke. Oh, okay. All right, so we have back and loop. Okay. And then burrito method. Just teasing. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Jackie. How's it going? All right, so we have shoulders, and then we'll write down stay stitch so I remember to do it since I frequently forget to stay stitch. And then the sleeve, not the collar. You do the sleeve next? That's interesting. I'll probably do the collar in between there. I like being able to put the collar on early because it's less to wrangle under the machine, you know? Oh yeah, and the placket. They didn't do the placket yet. Oh, this is so interesting. The placket and collar are last. Huh. Okay. Okay. Okay, so sleeve. This is how they do it. Placket, collar, and then I'm assuming hems. That's about all that's left, right? Yep. Okay. So I didn't look at how they do their placket. No, well, it looks pretty standard. Oh, here it is. I'm like, wait, those aren't instructions. Okay. The new Adobe Reader, it's a struggle. Nobody asked for it. Nobody asked for this. It was an excuse for them to force feed us AI. Okay, let's see. I want to know how they handle this one little spot on the placket. Hi Elizabeth, how's it going? Okay, yeah, do. Iron, iron, iron. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about this. This is pretty easy. It's a square house rather than a pointy house, and that makes it a lot easier, in my opinion. Mainly because, like, I really should use, like, more ironing templates when I'm doing things like that, and I don't. I would really like a piece of really thin metal, just like a 1-inch wide piece of thin metal, like probably aluminum that doesn't get hot when I iron it. And it's not pre-made to do anything. I just want a thin one little like 8-inch by 1-inch, you know, something like that. That would be so nice. That would be like just so handy. I don't want to buy something, you know, specific. Thanks, Julie. I'll try. I already am great. Okay. Well, let's minimize these. All right, so we have our instructions, and basically I only wrote that down. Button-ups are something I've sewn a lot of. And I like to do this for my stream because I like to try and stay roughly in the same order as the instructions just in case someone needs help. But I don't have to. Like, I'm not paid to do this by their company, so just so you know, I can do this whatever I want, and I probably will. But you will get there in the end if you want to follow along with me. So the thing I need to do is cut out 2 yokes for the inside, and I just thought maybe I could match the plaid on the inside. I really doubt it, since I have to cut them out of a sleeve. So yeah, right, Terry, just like some thin, just a thin little piece of metal that I could just put under and just get crisp edges. That would be so nice. Nice, Jim. Multitasking. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the iron because I'm gonna cut this out. So I'm gonna cut out 2 yokes to enclose the chest seam on the front because it is got the pocket in it. I'm gonna iron this real quick. You know, like it looks wrinkly. It's just paper scraps and fabric scraps in there. Okay. Dang, I probably should have cleaned off my ironing mat, it's looking like. And my lint roller isn't clean. I used it the other day. It would probably pick up some stuff, but okay. So I just thought I would hazard a little, like, could I? Oh, actually, I could just use these. So let's see. Could I get 2 yokes? I think this is the right side. Okay. I accidentally cut one of my sleeves upside down, so I have this fabric here. So let's see here. We're just cutting. You don't have to do this if you don't want, especially if you're using the serger. You will be peachy keen. There's one. And then look at that. I am going to get 2 yokes out of the sleeve. Well, shoot dang. I went to some extra lengths to match my plaids on this project. I'm kind of excited about it because I think it's going to look really nice. I can't see chat right now, sorry. Let me just quickly cut this out and then we'll be off and running with our sewing. Maybe if I was doing a summer shirt, I wouldn't do this. I would just do a different seam finish. I would probably enclose the edge with some binding. I think that would be my backup plan here. If you're doing the flap though, it adds quite a bit of thickness in some cases, so you might find that that would be a little hard. Okay. Let's do this. Maybe it doesn't have to though. Like I have lots of metal rulers and they're not super sharp. Hi Nancy, hello. Yeah, like I said, I cut one sleeve upside down. Nah, I'm just going one sleeved. All right, so these are my real yokes and they have little markings on them. This one does. So these are my real yokes. And then these are my internal yokes. So, oh, I need to add all my interfacing. I didn't do that yet. This took me forever yesterday to cut out, like after the stream. And Loki was kind of like done. He was like, I would like to do something. And he just loves walking the property here, which is kind of cute. So, let's see, we have lots of interfacing here. This is what we need for our front. So let's just do them as we need them. All right. We'll just do them as we need them. I decided to cut the little pocket facing opening edge on the bias. No one will see it, but I think it's kind of fun. All right, and then we need 2 pocket flaps. Let's just give all these a little press. I'm going to use a little wiggin. Is that okay? I want to try it. I thought it would be kind of interesting. There's a wrinkle in this though. That's kind of weird. Get over there. Get over there. That doesn't look 3/8 of an inch away. Looks a little more. I honestly don't know the instructions for this, so I'm assuming steam will be okay. Hey Sydney, how's it going? No, ooh, 17 minutes. Oh, you do? Okay, cool. I almost asked you, like, how far can I take this stuff? Because I have the 1-inch tricot, but I'm very intrigued by this. It does feel a little crisper, not overly heavy though, which is nice. I feel like I put that on the wrong sides, honestly. All right, let's, I feel like I'm gonna sew something wrong, so let's start with the flap first. I don't know why. You know? So it's 1 centimeter seam allowances, or 3/8. I was glad Michael picked the flat pocket version. I'm so excited to sew right now, honestly. Like, I just something mindless to do. I am so happy about that. Not that my life's like overly stressful or anything. It's just, you know, this is like, it's like washing dishes. It's very nice and soothing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Carrie. Let's do this one with the interfacing side up. See how good I do. going to trim these down a little bit. I don't want to trim my corners. I've been playing around a lot with not trimming my corners. And then I fold the seam allowance here like this. Like I'm going to fold it toward the inner facing side. You know, I experiment with these things because it's just, like I've been sewing a while, right? And so it's just fun to do something different and see what happens for a bit and see what sticks. Like sometimes a new habit will just stick. I do want to clip this right here. But I find lately I've been getting a really nice corner by doing that. Yeah, see, look at that. It's in like an instant corner. And I haven't even done anything like this yet. Looks good. I think honestly, I'm gonna do it the other way. I'm gonna fold it toward the right side of the flap. This is the thing. This is why I experiment. It seems like I would want to do it toward the underside. Oh, the Wig. Oh, what is Wigan? It is a town in the UK. Yeah, it's a interfacing. It's on the bias. Can you kind of see the threads? It's woven. There's so many really cool interfacings. Definitely not an interfacing like connoisseur. Yeah, I think that's better. It's giving me a more smooth edge here, whereas see on this, I don't know if you can tell, like on this side, I would get the ridge where the seam allowances are. And this side it's smoother. That kind of surprises me. I love sewing is so amazing. I talked to Hearts recently and asked them if I could get the Arbor shirt by Merchant Mills back for Michael, and they were like, yeah, sure. I'm excited. I really loved making that. I think that turned out really nice. I kind of wanted to give it to him by the time he started his new job, but it was too hot to wear it, so, and I kept forgetting to ask them. And I think he's totally forgotten about it, and he really liked it, so that'll be kind of fun. Okay, let's see. Little flappy do. Oops, scissors on the floor. What just happened? Something just disconnected. Huh. I heard something go doo-doo. All right, what's our top stitching strategy? Do we want to do a lot of top stitching on this? What do we think? There's some opportunity. We have front yokes and back yokes, collar stand. The top pocket will be top stitched from through. How are they getting secured? I wasn't going to secure them at all. Top stitched to death. Maybe I should, huh? I'm just pulling that under flap under so, like, you know, to get that little seam. So the other day, well, more like a few weeks ago, we were cleaning some stuff in the garage. And we found this bin of Michael's things of like, well, were they Michael's things? I thought they were just like our winter clothes, like outerwear, like heavier stuff. And we've both worked at clothing companies, so outdoor companies. So sometimes it gets kind of hard. Like we have a lot of stuff. I don't know. That doesn't look great. And there were a few things I'd made for him a long time ago in there that, like, I don't know, he just didn't grab them. He didn't really wear them much. One was this fleece zippered jacket that's actually really nicely made that I was imitating one of his jackets for. And the other was one of the mini button-ups I had already made for him. But I had picked a fabric that was really similar to what we now think of as like viscous linen oil, right? And it's just too big on him. That kind of a drapey fabric on him, it just doesn't look great. So it was kind of obvious right from the get-go that it probably wouldn't work for him. So I washed it, and it fits me amazing. It's kind of funny. And the drapiness kind of just works because there's no like shaping. So I'll just show it to you sometime. I don't know, my experience with flat pockets when they're like in the seam, like right above the pocket, is that they don't really need a snap. Do you think they do? Wait, what? I know what the pattern says. We can do whatever we want. What word? Yay for first top stitch. Okay, Terry. Good luck. Knock 'em dead. All right. So we have our flaps are ready. We have our left front and our right front. I have each pocket pinned. Like I did the pattern matching, you guys. So this one goes to this one. I'm just gonna pin it down here. Actually, we'll just do this. And find our little notches here, and we're gonna center this over. This barely fits between the notches. I thought that would go a little bit longer. Does it not? I want to check. Oh, okay. It really barely catches it, doesn't it? So when I do drop-in pockets, I usually don't do this. I do 2 layers and then it hangs free inside, but this is so you can get away with not having 2 layers of pockets. I keep wanting to sew this at 1/4 inch seams, I don't know why. Where is it? Yeah, I think that this is going to match way too good for the plaid. I think it's going to match way too good to show off the cool details of this shirt, unfortunately. You know? That's why I'm kind of glad he picked the flap, so it really highlights that there's a pocket there. Yeah, you're over. It takes a lot longer, right, Aisha? I mean, I almost ironed that Scotch tape. I don't think that would have been good. Hey Amy, how's it going? I'm gonna understitch. I feel like I can't tell if my machine wants more stitch length or more pressure. Let's try a little more pressure. I know I lightened it recently. Maybe that's what's going on. All right, we're gonna clip here. Oh no, Amy. Bummer. Sydney, that's so funny. When I lived in Humboldt, okay, I think that it needed less or more pressure. That's kind of funny. It sort of feels, you know, like the flannel's kind of like thick, you know? So I felt like I was sewing in sand, you know? When I lived in Humboldt, there was always this group of like people who were young. Like, this is very general. I'm just generalizing. I'm just trying to get to my point. But there were a lot of like we had all kinds of nicknames for them. They would look like a typical stereotypical hippie, but they were not hippies, right? And they would panhandle, and they were young, and then you know see them like whatever. I worked at a fabric store, and they would come in and they were like living in the forest, like they were choosing to be homeless. Let's say that, all right? And they would come for like reggae on the river and hang out in the town for a while. But you know, then they use like daddy's credit card, like literally would have their dad's name on the credit card, you know, when they would buy things and stuff, right? So it was like it was a lifestyle. But anyway, the classic look would be like bell-bottom corduroy pants that were super long, and the bottoms were so frayed from walking on them barefoot. And it rained like 300 days of the year where we were, and oh my God, those things would be like caked with mud at the bottom. You'd see so many of them, you know, trying to look cool, but struggling. It just wasn't very practical. It's kind of funny. All right, so I'm going to take my tape off so I don't accidentally iron it at some point. Do I have one on this one? Yeah, I do. Okay. It would be kind of a bummer if I sewed both of these the same way, but we didn't. So here we have our pocket opening there, and I'm going to clean up this little back stitch right now while I can see it kind of. It's very dark thread. So this is what it's looking like right now. Yeah, exactly. I still wear a lot of dance goes, even though I wish I didn't, just because my body's like a little like, hey, you need to wear some different shoes. Just some variety, Jeremy. Come on. All right, so now we have our pocket. See, this would be a good place to have that little metal strip to iron it. So let me see which way this one goes. Goes like this. So we want to turn under. So this is the right side. Okay, and on this one, This is... That's the right side. And this is up. Let's do that too. This is up. Okay, we're gonna go press the 3 sides of this. Is my camera still on? Okay, good. I don't know what did doo-doo. It's a little disconcerting because all my rulers are just too thick, you know? I guess I could use a piece of paper. I think in some ways I've been slowing down my sewing lately. That's why I'm getting just more interested in doing some of these things. I'm going to do the sides first and then the bottom. Just so that the corners look the same as one another. You can do the bottom first and then the sides too. Plaid helps. The plaid helps to get me a straight line. Okay, so my other button-ups, I need to come up with a faster method. It's too bad we can't stack cut plaid, right? Man. That's the thing is like, batch sewing is one thing, but batch cutting is, to me, batch cutting, oh, I just did that in the wrong order, would be better. I would much rather sew individually than cut individually. You know what I mean, jelly beans? Okay. Oh, cereal box. That's a good idea. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind like something that like to just lean up here and then press to get a nice crisp edge. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, which one goes where? I didn't keep track of who goes. You go here. You go here. It's very obvious. Wow, that's not very much. That doesn't work. Did I sew my opening too large? I might have sewed my opening too large. I went to the notch. I thought you go to the notch. Oh, God. That's annoying. It said to go to the mark. I assumed that meant the notch. But mine's too by a lot. That's annoying. I mean, I'm just gonna look at the directions, see which mark they meant. Was there another one? Because I noted there wasn't any other markings. There's a dot on the facing. Well, that's just the clip, right? Oh, you sew between the dot. Let me see the... Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. We got to unpick. The options here would be to make bigger pockets and flaps, or do what I'm about to do. I called it though. I knew I was gonna make an error. I forget that the notches just aren't the same sometimes. Okay. They were looking so good too. Oh, you should, that is not your fault. I just didn't see the dot on the pattern piece, and my personal, like, my least favorite marking on a pattern is a dot, because usually it's a pivot point, and I don't really need the dot because you use the seam allowances, right? The juncture of seam allowances for like a pivot, so you don't really, it's like redundant in a way. It's a good reminder. But I didn't expect that would be like a start and end for sewing, because that's usually what notches are, so it's Rachel's fault. Let's see if we can find the piece. Oh, is this it? Is this it? This is not it. Oof. It's a little tiny piece. Let's see if we can find it. Well, shoot, let's see. Those? Okay, so it's like a quarter of an inch in from the end. Okay. Okay. This is when I started with the pocket flap, because I was like, okay, if we make a mistake on the pocket flap, low stakes. All right, so this is probably my opportunity to tell you that this month, excuse me, are my last live streams probably for the year. And I'll probably do a video about this, but I'm going to focus on Fittopedia, because it's become kind of an albatross around my neck, and it's not for lack of effort on my part to finish it. It's just that when I launched it last year, a lot of things happened afterward that were sort of not things I expected. One of which was my dog getting very, very sick, and it was during the holiday season, and she took a lot of care, and she passed away. So that's not new news or anything. Don't worry about that. That was like last December. And then I did Sew Expo, and Sew Expo was a lot of prep work. Cutting those kits out took me 2 months, like a month and a half solid of just cutting kits out and still trying to maintain all of my regular workload. And then I really had to work hard when I got back to recover financially, because it kind of was expensive to do that. And it cost me to do Sew Expo. So then I got back after spending a couple months kind of getting back on track. Then I had to move my office. So then I've spent all summer trying to get back on track with that. And then I've spent the last like month and a half, 2 months trying to get everything in order here. And I have been working on Fittopedia. And this whole year I really have been working on it. The neck and shoulders thing is going to be really good. It's kind of like something I'm really interested in. I love collar stuff, and it really touches on a lot of that. But I want it to be done. Like, I want the entire series to be done. And am I saying that it'll be done by the end of the year? Absolutely not. Do not expect that. Do not expect that. But it's going to give me a chance to focus on that, because I basically work kind of part-time at Sew Liberated, and I like that because it's been great. It pays the bills for everything. The guild is very minimal as far as like income right now. So it's just like the right amount of like work for the income. And so I'm just going to focus on Fittopedia, because really this is my goal. I want it to just be done, and I want to be able to do more content based on fitting, and I really want to just, like, this is what I want. This is my goal. my mission. I had lots of computer issues. Yeah, I lost an editing computer, which really set me back a lot. And then I got one, and it's been amazing, and we're using it right now to stream. So a lot of really good things have happened because of some of these things, but you know. So my goal would be that I am not dependent upon any of you guys personally for income. Like I've said this many, many times before. In an ideal world, the guild wouldn't have to exist, but I would never get rid of it. Like the community aspect, I'm super into community. I love community, especially having a place where everyone can just come and sew, talk about sewing, you know, to people that want to talk about sewing, right? So this seems like a lot of seam ripping to just back that off from the end. So I don't think Fittopedia is never going to be a really big income stream either. Like I'm not like deluding myself about that. But for me, I'm a finisher. I really like finishing a project, and I like the process of it. And I learn things. I always learn neat things and new ways to do things as I sit there and challenge myself on how to teach something. You know what I mean? Okay, so I just backed that off like there. I don't really think like not streaming for the rest of the year is going to be a huge impact, like giving me time, a huge impact to work on it. But it's going to be good to not worry about it. This is my ideal, is that streams are my fun thing. They don't like bring in income, right? But they bring in you guys, which is great, and I love that. And that is why, and that's what it's for, right? It's to bring in you guys and find people that are kind of like-minded sewists, want to learn advanced techniques, think thoughtfully about sewing. You're not really into something super fast. That's kind of my goal, right? I'm kind of lost in the weeds on this seam ripping right now. I'm not sure where I need to be seam ripping. My goal is that eventually I am working mostly on my channel, working part-time at Sew Liberated, and I don't have to worry about Fittopedia anymore. That sounds weird, but I have so many fun ideas. Like I really have some good fun ideas that I don't see out there that I want to work on, and I'm not letting myself until that's done because I want to finish that. I started that project and I'm into it, and it's going to be good. So I know that some of you found me because of live streams, and so I apologize for that. If you want more like interaction with me, you want to be a part of more things I'm doing, join the guild. Like I'm in there 24/7. I see everything. I'm interacting in the live chat feed. Become a guildie, and you can come to workshops and ask me questions, get direct help. Like I'm giving really good advice in there, very detailed, personal, your own videos. You know, like I do a lot in there. If everybody was doing that, then I'd have to rearrange some of how I'm doing it so that I'm not like not doing a good job. Holy, let's just take this whole thing out at this point. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Fittopedia is forefront on my brain. That's all I want to say. Yeah, I mentioned moving and all that. I know there's not much year left, exactly. There's so many resources in the guild. Like it's honestly like when people are like, I really wish you would have this. I'm like, I have that. I have that. I have a lot in there. I spend a lot of my time just showing a person where to find it because there's so much, you know, like it's hard to always see it. Okay, we're on track with this, right? I stopped from the end here. Now I'm just redoing my understitching here, and I'm just understitching up to where I stopped the stitching. Maybe a little shy of it, yeah, like that. And now we're going to turn this under. Oh, we need to clip in a new place, right? We need to clip here. Drop pockets are usually so easy to sew, so I'm sorry that I kind of made this harder, because they're really easy and satisfying to sew, honestly. So that would be like that now. Okay, so that's up there, and then this is extending past it, like that. I should have known that, like that. Okay, and now let's look at our pocket integrating with this before we stitch it down. Oh, this is so narrow, you know? I might just take this out a little bit, like undo a little bit. You can, thanks for asking, RT Blade. If you go to sosoguild.com, you can join the guild for free. You can just become, you know, you can just join the guild for free. You can join it for free. And there's a lot in there. There's Sunday socials, which are just like social sewing times, and they last for hours and hours. So you can just drop in, drop out, drop back in. Like, people do that all day long. And then if you want to pay monthly and become a guildie, it's called So Guildies, that's where there are 4 workshops every month, and they're at 2 different times, so that we're accommodating as many time zones as possible. They last a couple hours, and you can bring any question to it, and I will help you with that. You can also post a fitting question in the Guildies group, because that's basically all they do in there. It's not really the place where everyone hangs out, so you don't have to feel like it's a lot to manage. Why is this like hanging down there a little bit? And then you get access to all the skill building sessions, which there's 9 of them, and they're chunky. They're like big, like learning experiences for not setting in a sleeve fitting, or pants fitting, or or sewing a button up, pant and fly closures, pant and skirt closures, buttons and buttonholes. Those are chunky. And then for buttonholes, and then pattern matching. Is that everything? Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. This is just so close. But I want to wrap this around the edge like this, right? Like that. That would look nice. Something like that. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I'm just asking for some grace while I finish Fittopedia. It might take me a year. It just might take me a year. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. But it's going to cover everything, and it's going to be good, because I don't do anything like halfway. I'm laughing because if you see one of my skill building sessions, you'll understand. I would love to do things like classes and travel to go do things and all that, but I really want to finish this project. I haven't heard anything from Sew Expo. Nothing. I have no idea about that, and so I'm kind of cooling my interest in doing that, because I'm a planner, and I really do plan like really far out. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. This is my plaid matching. But I really enjoyed meeting you guys there. That was just so awesome. So it's a hard call. Very hard call. Maybe I would just go for fun and not teach. I don't know. That doesn't seem wise either. That seems more expensive. Oh yeah, quick fix videos. I might release some of those on my channel. They're much more casual and more responsive to like conversations I'll see in the guild. So like the other day someone was talking about how the back hip of their button up was just like hugging them and the best way to do it. And so I just kind of jumped in on that conversation and just said, hey, here's some ways to do that, you know? So it's like what you guys are talking about. All right, we're going to iron that better. Let's see, how's our flap look? Is it covering this all up? Okay, good. Okay. I can't see let me move the instructions now. Yeah, I think that that's one thing that it's kind of social media-ish, but not in the same way as other places because there's no toxicity whatsoever. Like there's no, I would shut that down so quick, you'd be out. Nope, I don't put up with that. But that's never been a problem. We've only had one issue, and that was a very unique situation that involves some people who really should be, I don't know what, examined. I think that's one thing people don't realize is that when you have like your Instagram account and it's your family and friends following and they're not into sewing, you want to post your makes and be excited and they're like, that's nice, can you make me something? They're not, no one's going to ask you to do that in the guild, and you can talk about it as much as you want. You can really get nitty gritty, or you can just be like, wow, I winged this and I'm fine with it, or wow, this came out terrible, or where do you guys print patterns, or you know what I mean? It's a very, very geographically diverse group too. Okay, we got this one back on track. Let's do this one a little quicker. Let's just unpick this bottom one here. I don't really advertise the guild. Maybe I should, but honestly, I kind of like people finding it organically, and I put a lot of time into it for being a free space, and I'm pretty committed to it being a free space. I don't want to really advertise it really huge and then just get like 1,000 new people and they not be the right people. If you're someone who just is low-key, wants to chat about sewing, you're, you know, thoughtful, and you want to be around people that are similar, it's a very inclusive space, and I don't know, I feel like if I just blasted the internet with trying to find members, not everybody would probably like the space, because it's just, I don't know, it's a very intentional sewing space, you know. I also don't allow any businesses or selling in there. I don't do deals with people to get discounts for you, because I don't like that. Like I'm like, it's not that I don't want you guys to have discounts, but that just means that you're going into a space and then it might look like you're getting sold something all the time, right? There's no pressure to buy anything except from, these people are enablers though. You got to be careful. They're going to tell you to buy whatever you're interested in. If you want to be enabled, they're going to do it. It's pretty easy to walk away buying a sewing machine that you were only half thinking about, because these guys are going to encourage you. But I'm not going to be in there going, hey, look at this cool new tool, here's my affiliate link. Or, hey, this company has given me all these magnetic things to give you guys for free. You just need to sign up for their newsletter. You're never, ever going to see that in there. I don't want that to be the vibe. There's no ads at all. And people can go in there and be like, hey, this pattern company is having a sale. Totally fine. Or, oh, you guys, I just found this really great deal on this kind of paper. Totally fine with that. I'm just not okay with you getting bombarded with things to consider buying when you're there to share your love of sewing. So, yeah, it's hard, Michelle. I understand it. I think the good thing about the Guild, too, is that you can drop in and drop out and you don't feel like you've missed anything. You know, like you can see people's posts like they made clothes, but it's not like it's news, you know? There is a live chat feed in there that is very, very active, and you see a lot of these people are in there. The people that you see in the chat right here, they are, it's like a live chat feed, so it's just constant text chatting. That space moves fast, and they talk about everything in there, and they've become a pretty close group, and they're very welcoming of new people. But just remember, it moves kind of quick, and sometimes like you'll say something and no one will say anything to you. They aren't ignoring you at all. Like this morning I said good morning and no one said anything to me. It's a little glitchy. I don't think all posts show up in there, or they've said hi to me and I didn't see their thing. Like it didn't show up for me. The platform is always trying to improve things, so hopefully they'll improve that more. But yeah, don't take that personal. Plus, sometimes they're like on lunch break and they'll just pop in and be like, hey, I'm not really here, but I just saw that so-and-so's having a sale, and then they leave. So they're not going to say anything to you. So that's my 2 cents with dealing with the live chat, because they are truly the nicest group of people, and if they thought they were ignoring you, they would cry. They literally cry. So anyway, that's my life update. I'm going to spend the rest of the year working on Fittopedia. I'm working more and more for Sew Liberated. I really like that. And once Fittopedia is done, watch out, because I have a really good idea that I can't wait to work on. I think you guys are going to love. So anything that gets me there quicker, yeah. And I've been improving my equipment. I have 3 new cameras sitting in the next room. I'm going to take my new computer in and add more ports to it. So I have good plans. I'm excited. My mission is to help as many people as possible. And I hope that it doesn't cost me to do it. That's my goal. Right now, I've been self-sufficient, which has been great. Perfect. All right, let's get this last one. I'm just taking out a little more of this understitching. Man, this took me like 5 seconds to sew and 100 minutes to take out. I don't like that. So did the dot. No. I also am very happy to tell you guys, just to underscore that I am very committed to this idea, that I turned down my very first video job because of the timing. They didn't give me much time. It was only like 1 month lead time, and it was a really big project. What's happening? That sounded funny. And I just said, no, you're not doing it. You're gonna stick to your guns, you know, because it's not only about the money, you know. What are you doing right now? Are you okay? This is not even in the tension disc. How is that even possible? How is that sewing and that wasn't even the tension disc? See you, Sydney. Good luck. Hang in there. I really feel for people in meetings. Okay, here we're back on track. We got our little loose edge here. All right, so let's sew this down. And I'm keeping it loose. I just heard that noise again. You ever do that? You're like, you okay back there? Yeah, it's okay. Oh, we didn't clip. That's okay. I can clip the other one after too. I'm about to rethread my machine, I think, just to make sure. All right. All right. How are you doing, Phoenix? Let's see here. Okay. All right, so now we have, this one goes here. All right, so let's do a little bit of arranging the iron. So we have this one that we already pinned here. And this edge over here, I needed to do a little shallower, and I wrapped it around the raw edge at the top here. Okay, looks good. We lost the pocket. Oh, I'm so sorry, Loki. He is stretched. I'm looking everywhere for my pocket. I thought it was right here. Here it is. Okay. Oh, he's even getting a little sun bath. Wow. Kind of shocked. Let's see here. Let's just undo it a little bit. See if that's enough. This is probably so much easier on like a crisp poplin or something. I do so many workshops every month, and now sometimes socials as well on Sundays and with the guild, and live streams seem so quiet to me now. I'm just realizing that that's probably why. Because like the last time I was like, this feels a little awkward. There we go. I'm assuming you wrap it around the edges. It looks nicer. Oh my goodness. If you can. This is my seat, and my chair is like rolling right by him. Like it's upside down, sorry, but he's in the sun. Wait, what? Yes, you top stitch the pocket around. I gave him a king-sized pillow that I had grabbed for stuffing, like I bought from TJ Maxx for stuffing one day, for last Christmas, because I needed it in a pinch, and I was like, oh, I could just go get a pillow from there. Worked brilliantly, by the way, but they sold in pairs, so I have this one left. I bought him 2 dog beds, one for that office, one for this one. I have the little dog bed there, you saw it. I crammed it in this corner, put the pillow there with a little piece of polar fleece on top because he likes to dig a hole on top. It's not enough. He still has half on the floor, you know. I'm the only one talking, I know. All right. So yes, now we're going to stitch around, enclosing this little bit of the facing there. Let's see if we can enclose it. I might do 2 rows, but I'll probably do the, I don't know. I really don't like it when my bobbin is the primary thread showing, you know. My bobbin's fine. I really, it's that, and that's like no fault of the pattern. This is just how it is. You could do it from the top if you feel so inclined. I've just had machines that did really bad bobbin stitching, you know. This one's pretty good. Sometimes I can't tell the top from the bobbin, bottom. Okay, that's our pocket. I'm going to do a second row of top stitching. I think that this is going to be a good idea, honestly. Oof. It's not straight to the plaid. All right. Phew. can't even see it. Clean, finished that inside there. Great. Okay. Back in the saddle again. Let's put our flap here. Michael was pretty excited about having 2 chest pockets, which I found interesting. He wants to be able to put his glasses, you know, in one. The seam allowance is just so narrow for all this. Not bad. Very stealth, right? I think like plaid matching on one hand is satisfying for you guys. On the other hand, I don't think it's very satisfying to see it because you can't see anything, you know? I feel like I picked one thing on the bias. What was it? It wasn't this, was it? Maybe it was just this facing. Like I didn't do the center front placket. I matched that. You saw that. I often will do the sleeve placket on the bias. I don't think I did that though. I didn't, oh, I might have matched it. I can't remember. I can tell that that's a little crooked, like on the plaid. I'm kind of done. I'm done with that. I'm done trying to figure that out. So this is how it's gonna look. Okay, let's do the other. Oh yeah, it's very crooked right there. Do you hear him? He loves coming to work. He's a working pug now. It's just very thick because it's flannel, you know? There we go. Phew. I gotta make sure that clip gets enclosed right there. All right, we are finally moving on. Interfacing, front pockets, back and loop, shoulder stitch. Okay, we need to do the yokes. So it's the right, it's the left. And it's the inside. This is not in the instructions. So if you want, you can sew this and then finish the edge however you like. I think honestly, I'm going to sew this one first, and I'm going to sew this from this side. So I'm going to try and match the plaid. And then we're going to hopefully match it along the way. Just worried about that pocket opening. That's the best matching I've ever done in my life. Yeah, I know it's very quiet. It's okay. I know, it's a work day. Oh, this one says left. Interesting. Okay, and then this one I'm not as concerned about. It's on the inside. And again, I'm going to sew it where I can see the seam. That way I make sure I don't have any seams showing. Oh, I wanted to make sure I didn't catch any of my pocket here. Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, good. Very good. Okay. So yeah, you could finish this edge like with a zigzag or a serger if you have one, or overlock, whatever you call it. If I wasn't doing this and I didn't want to use a serger or a zigzag, I would most likely bind this and enclose the seam with a piece of binding. It's going to make a stiff seam though. Okay. Hey Fiona, how's it going? Shem mostly uses spoonflower fabrics, and he likes the cotton sateen they use. Lining is in. Nice. Alright, we're going to press that before we top stitch it. See if we can do as good on this one. I always put the seam side up so that I can make sure I'm enclosing it. Because see, this is, I can see the stitching on this one. There's no stitching on this one, right? So we don't really have to worry about it. I can feel the pocket opening. It's right here. So that's what I'm worried about. Pocket right here, we caught a tiny bit of the pocket, just a tiny bit. Wonder if that bugs me. I don't think I'm gonna leave that. I think that could have, I didn't catch it there. I do wonder if that's, I'm gonna make this seam a little deeper right here. I'm not quite using the full seam allowance, like I recognize that. It's just because I'm a little worried about that pocket opening. I want that to be a straight line, and it's close. Okay, let's do the other one. Oh, cotton lawn. Okay, yeah. Yeah, 3/8 inch seams is not very suited for flannel. Flannel's it's like a living animal, you know? It's very forgiving too, though. Like, the good thing about flannel is that you can really make it do whatever you want. Kind of like linen. And if you don't know what you want it to do, it's going to tell you what it wants to do, and that's the problem. Like, you have to, like, tell it. Was this the one I had that did that? It is, right? Yeah, that's the same amount. Okay, let's iron it. Top stitch it. No, it's not lined in the pattern. The back yoke is. This plaid's nice. See that curve? That's the one thing I'm kind of keeping an eye on. It's because the seam was so hard to sew right here through all the thicknesses. It pushed my presser foot away. It looks very nice. I'm happy with that. What's up, Pug Pug? You stretching? All right. Okay, we're gonna top stitch this yoke. Yeah, streams feel so quiet now. It's pretty. It's I was about to say it's really thick, like it's like a denim thick. It's not. It's just I could. Like the yoke is not that thick because it's just got the seam allowances and stuff, but it's kind of thick. Very nice. Can't see anything. It's like simultaneously delightful and disconcerting not being able to see anything. I'm going to falsely pull this down a little bit. I know it looks wiggly, but it's the inside. I'm not going to poke the bear. You know what I mean? I do too. I'm using a size 16 needle and Tex 40 thread, just FYI. Like, I don't think of the top stitching on this being like a jean shirt, or I mean jeans or something, you know, where the thread needs to be thicker. But this is the color I had, and it just happens to be that. Very nice. It looks very nice. Okay, we have our fronts complete, so now we're going to assemble our backs. And those are these right here. So here's the, here we go. He was, and I remember that too. Yeah, flannel can be really wily. And he's used to, I mean, he's here, you can say, but he's used to fabric that is so nice to work with. Like, it's so, when you cut it, if you cut precisely, it stays just like that. It's great. I love that, you know. I made this loop longer than the pattern piece because I was kind of doubtful about how long it was, but now I see where it's being used. I'm just going to trim this just to make sure I can turn this, because it was kind of silly for me to just sew this right sides together. I don't know why I just did that, because it's flannel. Flannel and thready, like, you know, the edges fray. Like when we would sew, it was very, not super rare, but it was kind of rare if we were using spoon flower fabrics in our line, because they're just so expensive, you know. And but what we loved about them was when you cut them out, they were exactly like that the day you go to sew them, and everything matched perfectly the whole time. And because, you know, we would be cutting fabrics from multiple brands, and so like art gallery fabrics are another one that are really, they stay really precise, but the thing we would have to struggle with those was that they were thinner than like a standard quilting cotton. They're more like a lawn, like a garment weight lawn, which is kind of nice, right? You can use most of their fabrics to make garments with, which is great. But it meant that that thinness wasn't accounted for in the turn of cloth when I designed the pattern, because we had stiffener in our pattern. So let's say you use the, you know, like on the project bag, if you've made the project bag, there's a lining piece, an outer piece, and a stiffener piece. And the main fabric and the lining join together at the top, and they wrap around the stiffener piece. And so the main fabric goes kind of into the inside of the bag so that you see a very clean edge at the top. And when you do that with the art gallery fabric, you'd have extra fabric hanging off the end of the stiffener at the bottom. Whereas if you use like regular old quilting cotton from like Free Spirit or Westminster Fibers or whatever you call them, it would line up perfectly. So it was accurate, but it was inaccurate for different reasons. And then also the art gallery lawn in the binding was great for thicker fabrics, but it was too thin and would have torque lines on it. So great for thick seam because it took up less fabric, but at the same time you'd get torque lines potentially, whereas quilting cotton was perfect. So, and the spoonflower was awful in the binder because it was, even though it was really crisp and precise, the ink on the surface of the fabric made it super dangerous to sew. That's the machine I bound my thumb on because you had to pull so hard. It was exhausting. The machine just couldn't, it just couldn't feed it very well on the binding attachment. I'm not sure how I would describe it. I don't know if it's very interesting, so I won't describe it. But yeah, it was a chore. All right, here's my center back, and here is I'm gonna flat fell. You don't have to. I don't know if you're even sewing this with me. I'm gonna flat fell this. And I gave myself more seam allowance to do this. There's only 3/8 on the pattern, but I gave myself an extra 1/4 inch. So I could do some flat fell seams. I didn't bring my my foot. It's at home. I'll try and bring it on Saturday. We could play around with it, but I don't think it's gonna work with this flannel. I'd also have to cut down the seam allowance. The seam allowance feels gigantic right now. Okay. I'm kind of scared I'm going to iron I don't have any masking tape, so I just use Scotch tape. I just want to I don't want to accidentally iron it. So I'm going to take it out. So tell me a story. Like, what are you guys up to these days? What are you sewing? I saw Terry is sewing pajama pants for holidays. I also know Terry will be done with everything by the end of November, because Terry has this really amazing tradition where she uses December to either sew for herself or finish everything from 2024 to give herself a clean slate for 2025, and I love that. I am really trying to be done with all of my holiday sewing by the end of November. I like the end of 2024 thing, but I honestly don't have a whole lot of whips. right now. I have a few things. I actually really don't. Sorry. I've been pretty good about keeping up with it this year. Dockside polo. Oh, noise. You've made that before, right, Amy? That's cool. All right, we're going to trim this one. I think my holiday sewing plans are a little ambitious right now, so I'm going to try and pare it down because it's not a list yet. And you know when it's not a list, you just keep adding things in your head? That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I'm going to do 12 sets of pajamas for my mom and this for the kids and this. And then I'm like, wait a minute. If you did one of these a week, Sarah, you'd be doing this until the end of February, you know? And I think one a week isn't a enjoyable goal, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. Everything I'm gonna have to sew is one a week, starting soon. Right? Or more. Your Dawn jeans, they're way too loose. No way. Was that your fabric, do you think? That's the fourth one you made. That's great. Hey, Tiana. You're sewing the folkwear. Oh, the dirndl. Oh, fun. That's fun. Yeah, that dirndl's probably really involved if you got it from Folkwear. I love their patterns. I have a ton of them. But it's been a long time since I've sewn any of them, except for when Hearts gave me one of them to sew. You just made a Blackwood cardigan. That's Helen's closet, right? Oh, from a failed jumper. Oh, I love turning those things kind of around. And you're sewing a Dawson top at weekend using remnant scrap. Nice. Hello, Adina. How's it going? You know, I should, except for the pockets, I've kind of been surprised how much I've been able to adjust my pants on the side seam. The pockets are the only risk. And remember when I retrofit my Dawn jeans, I had to move my pockets in. I think it's those, right? So I had to like restructure that whole thing and recut the opening because the pocket opening would get too small. And this is why I don't like hip or slash pockets, because adjusting the side seams is dicey. They're impossible to put your hands in. You just started prepping the pattern for a blazer from a new book. Oh, neat. Nice. That's really exciting. Oh, I can't wait to see it. I want to see Swedish only sewing stuff. Taking the side seams in 2 inches total there. What? Oh, they did? Wait, when? Where is Folkwear? Oh, I'm thinking Folkwear is somewhere totally different. The pocket's too small now, yeah. Oh, shoot. Oh, North Carolina. Okay, wait, that does kind of sound familiar. Interesting. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I've been trying to track down one really old friend, and I can't get a hold of her. She's in Asheville. Cricket visited yesterday for like a little bit. Her friend's mom passed away recently, so she's been coming up and hanging out with her friend. And I said, hey, do you still follow so-and-so's kids on Instagram? She goes, I don't think I ever did. I was like, oh, because I just don't have any social media. I know you guys think I do, I just don't. And I didn't realize I don't have my friend's contact info. Like all this time I thought I had her email and phone number. And we both used to live in the same little town. And then she went off to get her doctorate. And then she got a teaching position in Asheville. So, but our kids we were like in birth class together. And our kids, you know, were babies together. Like she was at my house all the time and I was at hers. One of the smartest people I know too. And I know they're there and I can't figure out how to get a hold of her. I found her email on the website of her university and I haven't heard back. And so Cricket was like, oh, I'm going to find her for you. So she's She's on the case. I've told you guys my daughter has incredible skills finding people, finding anything. If you're looking for a house to buy somewhere and you want someone else to do the work, let me know. She's amazing. So, oh, that's a bummer, Mullen. Oh, they did? Oh, shoot. Oh, I hope they're okay. Dang. Okay, we're going over to the iron. I'm going to press my filled seams here. Okay. I know my fabric's a little wrinkly, and I do this on purpose, just so you know. I know it's probably really triggering for some people. But I do this on purpose because that's how it'll probably get worn. I don't mind it getting larger when I sew it, because then when it washes, it'll be the right size. And this fabric remarkably doesn't really need a lot of ironing if you just hang it right up. Not remarkably, it's flannel, it shouldn't really need it. See, this would be another great place for a little, well, I don't know how I would use a metal thing. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm gonna pre-press this. This is when I kind of wish, this is why I have this little antique iron thing here. That's why I just want to set it down for a second. It's not perfectly balanced, but it'll do the trick for just setting it here for a second. Don't touch it with your knuckles, though. Okay, this is too not trimmed close enough. Okay. One more. Let's actually press that a little better. Okay. You okay, Bubs? What's wrong? He just like sat up. I'm trying to decide if I want to make something when I go to this concert. I kind of do. But I don't want to make something that, you know, like, is so unique that I'll never wear. So. Oh, they just moved in September. Jeez. That's good. Is that iron not burning? Oh, wow, Adina. Are you moving out of the state? Is it easier to do than a French seam? Do you find French seams difficult? It is a little, it can be a little fiddly. And all of the seam is exposed. Like this is the right side of the garment. And now I'm just turning under the edge and sewing it down. So on the inside, you know, it's gonna look like this, right? With a little line of stitching there. Because this is the way I do flat felled seams. Sometimes people do it the other way where they put the seam on the inside, but I think it looks, I like the way this looks. This is less bulkier than a French seam. It's less bulkier and it's also like now I have like a flat piece of fabric, right? Whereas a French seam would be sticking out into the body of the garment. So there, I think that's just, there's just some like advantages to it, or disadvantages, depending on how you think of it. And then, and it's just like, what do you want, you know? I think on the back of this shirt, it's going to be great because it's gently shaped and it'll, sit closer against the body without the French seams poking in. I do love French seams, you know. You moving closer to me? Oh, like how close? Can we meet up? Oh yeah, I think you're a little in the past. Are you a little in the past, Julie? Yeah, that little stand, it's like an antique iron stand, and so it's a little smaller, and it has that handle, so I can't set it on the handle of it, because then it would like go, it would tip. But it's just handy when I don't want to set it on the stand. I want to get really quick. Less movement, you know. The cord on the iron plus the water tube can be a little annoying if you're lifting and setting it down constantly, like a lot, like you're just always doing that. Like if you were a quilter, you probably wouldn't really like that unless you set it up very optimized for that. Because like when I was quilting the other day, I mean, don't get me wrong, the way it irons is so nice, you know, like I would only use it for quilting. Oh yeah, exactly. You could do that, RT Blade. You could do that. You could do the French seam and then stitch it down. It's just a little bulkier is all. Okay, so here we go. This is the right side. That's the bottom. This is the top. Here's our loop. Let's press this really quick. We want it nice and flat. So I made this a little longer. So maybe let's, so if it was this long, you just do this. Okay, that's plenty long. I don't know why it looked so short to me. What do we want this to look like? Do we want it to look like that? That looks kind of cool, huh? Or do we want it to look more like that? Like this, like this, or that. I think that looks more symmetrical, huh? It looks kind of sporty. So this thing is so hard to tell the top from the bottom sometimes. All right, so this goes in the yoke seam. Spiffy. I like hanging loops on the inside of the garment, but I'm just gonna follow this because it looks cool. I don't think he uses I don't know if he'd use this one, but maybe we could put one in the neck too. The last one. You like this one, Julie? You win since you're the only one voting. Okay, this is the inner. This is the outer. I don't know why. Could be because of the plaid. This actually might be on a different grain line. I think that's what's going on here. It's very bright in here. I matched this plaid too. It's a little over the top. Only the center panel will match probably. I don't think the side panels will. Yeah, they won't match. I'm a little close over here. See, I still have that little bit of excess. I need to make sure I'm really accurate on my seam. See? That happened to me on my muslin too. Where'd that pin go? See, when I match, I sometimes pin. All right. Tell me if the lighting gets too much because the sun's pouring into this window right now. And I can just shut the blind a little bit. Let's put this matched there. It's quite a bit of curve. You know one adjustment that I forgot to make yesterday? Hard to believe I forgot one. This is why it's struggling to match right now. This is why. Remember I did a rounded back adjustment right here at the top of the side back. Remember I pinned it out? So I did that. I trimmed that off. I saw it later when I was pulling all the pins out of my muslin. I was like, oh, I forgot about this. So, and that's in the Fittopedia stuff. So basically, right here, so this is the side back, right? Here's the armhole, side seam, right? Here's the seam right here, and then the yoke seam. So I pinched out a little bit right here to do a rounded back adjustment at the top of this, so it's a little more curved there. I just missed it when we made that big list. Jeez, it scared me. What is that feeling right here? Oh, it's the, okay. The sun was bugging me. It's hitting the scissors in my eyes, that's why. I moved them and then they started touching the wheel. To see how it's more curved down. I took off a little chunk there. Yeah, I kind of thought that might be. I could shut it down a little bit, you know. I even have a light like behind me, right here. I want to be able to illuminate this area better lately. So I'm using my face light for it since I've got my new blinds. It's a little cloudy, so it's not too bad. We can do like that and see if that's a little better. Oh, it already feels better. Is that okay still? I can open it a little more. All right, let's see how we did. Okay, so we got the center section here, just not here, but we have the horizontal, right? I know, right, Tiffany? I know. That thing's crazy. But I can't reach it, so we threw a little money at that. Let's put this, actually, how did I hang this up? Like, wait, like that? No way. Okay, well, whatever. All right, so let's press our yoke. Give our under yoke a good tug. And then I just sort of kind of make sure I get the seam here, but I don't commit. I'm not putting my iron completely down. We just want to make sure we get no blumping right over the seam there. We have a lot of contouring happening back here. All right, and then now we want to do this one. I'll just focus on the seam first. Okay, now we can kind of commit. It's cute. I kind of wish I would have double stitched this. The little loop, you know? Like I think if I would have liked this with a double needle top stitch down it. But we're not going back. Right. Now we're going to do our shoulders, which interestingly I lined. So I think what I'm going to do is treat the fronts as one layer and then do the backs over them. Because yes, technically you could do like the top layer of yokes together and then the under layer of yokes together, but then your shoulder would be loose, which would be kind of fine. It would be, we could make it nice and flat and smooth, you know, like press the seam open. I'm just doing like a 1/4 inch. Other than the hiding, the internal seam, does these double yoke have any other benefits? You mean on the back or the one that I did on the front? I think you're talking about the back since you came in later. because I added a second layer to my front yokes because I wanted to enclose the seam right here. Here's my front. There's only one layer, and the seam allowance is only 3/8. See you, Aisha. Have a good one. So I'm thinking you're talking about the back, and I have a feeling that it's there to clean the seams, but also it's an opportunity to put a label for hanger appeal. So I don't know. I don't know when this came about, because I don't think the yoke was on the back of a shirt until, like, only on the back. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if I know the answer to this, but I'm not sure I do. I'm actually not sure I do. I can come up with lots of reasons. That's why I don't think I know. So I don't know if I'm the right person to ask. All right, so I'm going to keep my fronts. Do I want to do that? So see what I mean? Like, I could sew the front yokes separately to the back yokes. I'm kind of curious what that's like. But the other thing I could do is just treat this as one layer, the front, like you normally would, and then enclose to the back. It would just mean that all those seam allowances would be pressed one direction, which is kind of thick. So let's treat them separately. This is kind of fun. So we'll do our outer first. My shoulder seams aren't going to match. You like yoke a back to hide a dart, but to do that double yoke would not be necessary. Yeah. No, I don't think it's to hide a dart, because the dartless shirt block is an actual draft, and you're taught how to let the shoulder dart go. It just depends on like when it came about. So, because there are certain things that are just for hanger appeal. So when you hang it in the store, it looks nice because you can see Woolrich right there in the center of the yoke when it's all buttoned up, and it just looks nice. And I'm just trying to think, like, when you think about how currently a button-up is sewn, the only seams that need finishing are the armhole, underarm, and side seam. And they flat fell those. So you could keep it that way by just having the yoke and enclosing the only other seams there are, which is shoulders and the back. So the back yoke seam. So I don't know. It's a good one. I bet Tiffany's doing research on it like right now. Our historical enthusiast. Maybe it was for added warmth. Because I feel like some of the first modern yoked shirts are going to be like the chambray, not a plaid flannel. You're a fungi. Did the bear win that you wanted to win for Fat Bear Week, Tiffany? Or was it the big meanie? Grazer. Is that the big meanie? I know which one won, but I don't know if it was the one you wanted to win. She did. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad. By a lot? I'm curious. Oh, she won't buy a lot. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, durability is a good question. I think that's a good one. It does provide extra, right? Made this a little harder on myself by doing them all at the same time, but it's not bad. So what do you guys think? Should we go forward with sleeves? Or should we go forward with placket and collar? And by sleeves, I just mean placket and cuff on the sleeve, not attaching it to the body yet. I'm not going to do that till the end because of the keeping it a little easier to deal with. I just want to look at this. Oh. Looks nice, eh? A little funky there. Look at that matching. Hubba hubba. Okay. Please research. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking too, Tiffany, that they don't have yokes then, and it's more of a modern thing. 40K more votes than Chunk is his name. Like, remember Chunk from the Goonies? Placket and collar. Yeah, no worries, Terry. That's what I think too. I think, like, I would not be surprised if it's for hanger appeal. Like, you know. What do we think? Do we want to attach these shoulders together? I'm going to stay stitch the neckline right now. Something I'm terrible about doing most of the time. Please forgive me, Cashmerette. They do it in a very proper way where they start at the center back and go to the front on each side. I'm just going all the way around. But I'm also trying to keep slack in it. I don't want to stretch it out. I think flat felling this armhole is going to be a pain. Like a right pain. I don't think it would make it more fitted. I mean, if anything, it decreases your... It makes it more stable, I think. Because you have to add a pleat here usually for arm movement. Because this binds it up. You know? The seam binds it up. I really wish I would have top stitched that. I'll probably just go on with collar and placket since I know how to do those without looking at the instructions because I'm not sure how they do their what is this? How they do their sleeve placket yet. Cats. Oh, maybe. I see what you're saying, Tiffany. You just go all the way around too. I mean, they're not wrong. Like, that's a good strategy because it keeps things not getting stretched out, going one direction, you know? All right, we're going to do all of our interfacing now. I love the fitted back too. I think it looks nice. It's a lot of work for a wearable muslin, not gonna lie. All right, so this is our left placket, and this is our right placket. So that means this edge is the one that gets the interfacing, this side of the placket. This side right here. And then this one, it's this side. Okay. Just want to make sure I keep it straight. This is the right. This is the top. Right? Is this actually the fold line? Kind of, almost. Just going to quickly do this. Get that in place. Let's get this one in place. If this is the left, yeah, okay. Have a good night, Tiffany. You sleeping, Julie? You heading out? Sleep well. Night, Malin. I feel like my streams have been so much calmer lately and more ASMR-ish, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm just more chill. Okay. Plackage. And then we'll have our... All right, so which way do we want to sew our collar on today? Do we want to... Are these identical? Do we want to do the very last step under the collar or along the neckline, which is like usually how I do it? But you know, I've been sort of practicing the other method each time I do one of these. So basically, do we want it to end here or here? I'll let you guys think about it. See if you have any preferences. I should have used the Wiggin for this because I could have just bent it around because it's on the bias, but I don't know. I think I already had this cut before I got that out. end at the top. Okay, cool. Drama or chill. Oh, did you hear him? Yeah, he was just snuffling really loud. He's out. He loves it. This is probably for him a very like this is perfect scenario. He can hear me talking, so he knows I'm still around, and he can just sleep and not worry I've walked out of the room without him knowing. Because if I do any kind of movement, like with my chair or whatever, he instantly boing, even if he was dead asleep. And I really feel bad for him when he does that. I'm just kind of looking at the right and wrong, like seeing if I can tell which is the right and wrong side. That's what I keep doing. I think this side looks slightly fuzzier. I don't know if there actually is one. I really need to keep like a long list of things I would ask someone if I ever had the opportunity, you know, and this would be one of them. Is there a right and wrong side to this? I want to know more about fabric. He's a Velcro dog, yeah. Barnacle. You never hear. If you had headphones on, I bet you could. I call him like my little like dust cloud, you know, like Pigpen. Always has that little dust cloud running around his feet. And like yesterday I was unloading the dishwasher, so I was doing nothing with food. And I was just waiting for Cricket to come. So I was just in the kitchen unloading the dishwasher, and he was like within 10 inches of my ankles the whole time, right? So he was like this little like buffer of air around my feet. I've gotten to the point where I just ignore it, but sometimes it's it's like dangerous for both of us. You know? He was just like, yeah, exactly. I know, yeah, exactly. He's really doing okay. Look at him all snuffled in there. What is that? My elbow now. We need a look at that. That's a whole like king-sized pillow for a bed. That's a dog bed. And this is just a little scrap of polar fleece. Remember when we sewed the donated fleece pullovers? That's what that is. He really is cute. He's really not though. Like pugs are just not cute in my opinion. Excellent personality though. If you have anything going on in your household that is not great, and I would say just about anything, marital stuff, sick people in the family, siblings who argue a lot, any kind of strife in your house, I highly recommend getting a pug. Their personality is like the balm that soothes all open wounds. It's incredible. It really is incredible. Like you can't be unhappy around him. People all the time say, oh, I've never liked little dogs, but this little guy's really grown on me. And I'm like, same dude, same. I've never liked the sound of these dogs or the look of these dogs, but he is a rescue. Like he is a rescue. He and his sister weren't in a great situation, and my friend rescued them, and she was looking for homes, and she just kept sending me cute videos, not to get me to take him because we don't even live near each other. And then one day I was like, you know what? I want one of those. And even all of us say that. Cricket, Michael, and I all say, like, because, you know, Cricket was a teenager at the time. Michael was traveling a lot. The fire had just happened. I was closing my business. Our lives were just stressful for lots of reasons. He really, and Molly was kind of, her breed was kind of, I don't know, just kind of, I don't know what it is. She just wasn't very like dog friendly or anything friendly. She was a very sweet, very friendly dog to us. But like when I would go on a walk, I'd be like, oh, please don't pet her. Because she just didn't want to be petted. She didn't want to be petted or approached. She loved going on a walk, loved going about town, didn't want to be touched. And people didn't like that. And oh, is she going to bite me? I'm like, well, she might if you put your hand near her and she doesn't want to be petted, she might. She was a stray dog for like 7 years living the streets, you know? So we got Loki. She mellowed out so much, but she ignored him for 2 solid weeks. 2 weeks, you guys. I was like, oh my God, is this going to work out? And then one day, there's that photo you see on my lock screen of my iPad where they're sitting next to each other. That was the first time she ever let him sit next to her. So I snapped a photo because he's really little in that photo. And then he started like sleeping next to her. And then he wanted to be Little Spoon, and that was it. The end of the story. Like, that was it. Oh, really, Amy? But I want to be really clear. Medically, they're a nightmare. He has cost us so much money. So much money. And you really can't skip out on some of the things they need. And he's like, it's like having a permanent toddler. Not in a good way. Personality-wise, great. Because he is a little, like, clown, you know? The other day, I was baking cookies, and I had planned on baking them and then taking him on a walk. And so I was just waiting a few minutes while the oven finished. And then for some reason, I just decided, I was like, I had finished something else, and we just walked out, and I went on the walk, and I got all the way down to our street. My driveway, I have 2 driveways that go down to our street. One of them is like an overgrown path now, so we don't drive on it, but we can make it a loop, right? And that's a 1/4 mile loop, so it's a long driveway. I got all the way down halfway and went, oh my God, I put the cookies in the oven. So I had to run up, and it was pretty warm. And pugs don't do well in the heat. And so I was like, come on, Loki, because I didn't want to carry him. And he was running at me, and I got the giggles. He looked so ridiculous. Like, he looks absolutely ridiculous. He's not athletic, but sometimes we call him agility pug. Like, he will do something like super, like jump over a little pillow, and we're like, whoa. But he did it. Like, he's a trooper. He doesn't care that it's too hot outside for him. He did it, but he looked ridiculous. Like, legit. So yeah, highly recommend. Give them to someone grumpy in your life. You know? Okay, if this is the left. Oh yeah, okay. No. If this is the left and this is the top. Did I just put the interfacing on her? Oh my God. Maybe I did. Did I just get myself confused? Is this going to work? Oh my gosh. What if I didn't do that right? This should be the interface side. Oh my gosh, I didn't do that right. It should be on this gray side. I know that. We're taking it off. He can shed a lot, yeah. I've heard, there's a woman I ran into on a walk here, and she was like, oh my God, the shedding though. I will say Molly shedded more. So yeah. But like if I went like this to him, yeah, Pigpen, dust cloud. But I try and brush him more. Yeah. Right, I know. Okay, we're gonna do that again. I think I have a little scrap bin here. I don't think that'll work. But just a second, I'll be right back. Oops. He'll probably follow me. Sorry, did I wake you up? Come on, buddy. Come on. You gonna go say hi to Chris? Okay. I really spent so much time figuring out left and right. If having a roll of 1 inch, if this doesn't sell you on having a roll of 1 inch interfacing, I don't know what would. It's so easy. We're going to go right down the middle of this stripe. I know, I knew that. Remember, we picked that as our center. That's kind of funny. I'm just not going to worry about these anymore. I think the plackets are identical, so it doesn't matter. He just stretched out on the hard floor. It's cooler. I'm just centering it over that little stripe. That's what I'm focused on right now. Because that would be my ideal, is if we get to use that. Hope that's them. If it's not, it's okay. Okay. Sold, yeah. Really, Michelle? Yeah, see, you know, this is one thing I find as Americans we don't appreciate. So one thing I really, 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 did I say really hate about America is the American dream. Everybody doesn't need to be a millionaire. Or how about everybody is a millionaire, right? I don't like the uneven distribution of wealth, right? Capitalism, all that. Like, hate it. Hate it a lot. And because we sell this idea that everyone wants to be rich, meaning like that's the goal, the only goal is to be rich. Well, I have a lot of problems with that. I think everybody should be well cared for, secure, stable, content, and not want for things, and medically taken care of. And but because we don't do a lot of things in our country anymore, we have other people doing that for us in other countries with very low labor costs. We have a lot of opportunity here to create little businesses and stuff like that. So we have a lot of things here available to us. Do these businesses do well? Not always. Are they million-dollar businesses? No. But we have a lot of things available to us to buy because there's a lot of businesses. And so that is very, you know, good to appreciate occasionally. Exactly, Terry. Or what if everybody just was? What if it was an even distribution, you know? Like, I know that's never going to happen. But the chasm is just getting bigger and bigger. Okay. So this random thread. All right, so I'm going to do my plackets. I'm going to do them from the wrong side to the right side. This is kind of nice. It's kind of a free pass because this is the inside seam, so we won't really have to spend a ton of brain power matching it since we did match the plaid. There's still a little glue on this, by the way, just so you know. I'm being transparent. But it'll be okay. Like once we have the whole placket like sewn in and everything, that's okay. It'll just glue to the other side. It'll be a good thing. One thing I'm not very good at is sewing this on very straight. I'm going to be being honest. Because I sometimes pause, I get it a little off. So let's see if how straight we did this, because I bet it's not very straight. Okay. Now let's do this one. So right side of the placket to the wrong side of the shirt. This, in my opinion, makes doing something like this beginner friendly. I should be looking at staying parallel to this, not my raw edge. I'm looking at the wrong spot right now. Oh, it gets a little off right here. I'm a little bit off up here. Oh, but maybe it's the yoke. Okay. It's probably the yoke. That's the inner yoke. It doesn't match as perfect. Okay. All right. It's so hard. I know. I totally agree. Oh, really? Terry, that's so funny. I'm reading chat. Yeah, I just realized on the last like quarter of the second placket that I was looking at the wrong spot to keep that straight, you know? So this is done towards the end of the garment, but I'm going to put the collar and placket on now because I like less shirt to deal with when I'm doing the collar, but it would be the same steps though. Like if you want to wait till the end and come back and do this, that it would work then too. Let's get rid of this thread here. Okay. So now we're going to fold this to the right side and how wide is this supposed to be? So where's our fold line? Let's see if this is the like that. So it's like just on the other side of that. That works. Okay. All right. So we're gonna fold this for this would be where my metal edge would be great right here. Yeah, I finished my blazer except for buttons and buttonholes, and I keep forgetting to show everybody. I really need to finish. I need to do the buttons, but I keep leaving it at home. And, you know, my buttonholer is in the shop. I think I might just buy another one because I haven't heard from them. And maybe they're just like, we don't want to tell her she has to buy another one. And they're like, maybe we should give her one. No, they should not give me one. I did that thing dirty. So I should just buy it. But then what if the new one, or not a new one, but like my fixed one comes in the mail? I'll just reach out to them. I never heard anything from them, so. So like this would be another thing. Like if I could put a metal edge along here, it's starting to stick. So let's do this. Fold this like this. Let's get this nice and straight. I'm like try-harding on this shirt. I love it. That's why I say I want my streams to be the fun things that I'm kind of into. Yeah. Okay. See, the one thing about plaid, you know, if you match it all, it makes the sewing kind of easy. Kind of does it itself. Yeah, they're probably afraid to deliver bad news. Exactly. I'm wondering if they're just like, it's just sitting there and they're like, what do we do with this? You know, they're like, it's like a computer. They may not even have like tech support for it yet. You know what I mean? Because it's newer. It's kind of like my dog ate my homework. My cat broke my buttonholer. Oh, this isn't lining up right here. Why is this I'm questioning life right now? Good thing this is left over right. Maybe not though. Did I use the wrong yoke here? It's not matching. I'm worried. Did anyone buy that new tool from Generates, the silicone hammer? Kind of curious what you think of it, like when you get it. It looks fun to use. Don't like that. You did, Blair? Oh, really? That's true, Adina. Yeah, that's what I think, Terry. I think they're like, you tell her. No, you tell her. I should just put them out. I wrote in the note, like, I will buy another one if this is not fixable. Like, it's my cat's fault, you know? So. Yeah, that's true. Your cats. That's so funny. I have that urge to bite into things when it's like Play-Doh or Fimo. I know, it's so weird. I really want to bite into it though. When I see it, I'm like, ooh. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to do this edge too. I'm just going to leave it for now. Oh yeah. My cat, I had it in a bin, like a storage bin, and it was sitting on a table. And it was like packaged in there, and my cat jumped up onto the table and didn't expect that bin to be there. And the bin was like this tall, so I think he thought that that would be the top of the table or something, and he grabbed the edge and was like, oh, because or maybe it's that he got up there and he was like, oh shoot, there's something here, and he grappled it, and the whole bin went boonk, and it fell on the ground. And I think that broke it, because after that I can't even get it to turn on. You know? I got it all installed one day and I was like, huh, it's not even turning on. So, I don't know. All right, this is the more visible placket. It's the left one. Trying to get this to match. I'm pushing with my hand underneath and pulling on this. It's kind of nice that it's not going the other direction, because the feed dogs are helping me a little bit. I don't want to get any twisting. It matches the yoke perfect. Should I do? Oh, that's showing. I don't really like that. What size buttons? I'll probably use small buttons, so I could do 2 rows of top stitching. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm going to do 4 rows. So I think my buttons are small enough. That wasn't very straight. This is the visible placket, so that's why I kind of stopped on the top stitching of the other one. It's not necessary to top stitch it. I don't want my back stitch to show. And I don't want it to start coming undone, so that's why I just turned sideways. So I'm going to do 2 rows on this side too. Oh, I knew I had run out of bobbin. I was just thinking, it sounds like I ran out of bobbin, but how could that be? What do you mean, how could that be? We've been sewing for like 2 hours. Oh, my bobbin didn't wind. No. Why didn't you wind? That's so annoying. Are you just spinning? Dang. Well, now it's winding. What the heck? I didn't do anything. I have to trim this thread tail. Okay. Bummer. You know, Terry. I feel like it was more prominent early on than it is now. I'm going slow, so it's not too loud. It's almost done though. I could even just stop there and then wind the next one. You know what I was thinking about the other day? Is how you absolutely cannot sew without bobbin thread in your machine, right? If your machine is threaded, you can't sew without a bobbin. It'll break the machine, right? We've all done that by accident at least once, right? But you can sew and then run out of bobbin and it's okay. Because, you know, we all see the videos that were like, oh, that moment when you realize you ran a bobbin thread a long time ago. First of all, why aren't you checking your sewing? But how come that is? Is it because the bobbin is in the case? I think it's because the bobbin and the case are in there. You know? I don't know. Just something I was thinking about the other day, though. Hey, have you guys noticed my thumbnails lately? And what do you think? Do you guys have opinions on my thumbnails? I'm kind of curious. I've kind of been liking this way of doing them. I don't like regular YouTube thumbnails. And I know that's not good. Like, I should just do what works, but I know I should be in the thumbnail, and I'm not going to do that. Why isn't this in the center anymore? That's not being diplomatic, right, Terry? Why aren't my, okay, they match when I do that. I may need to, wait a minute. How bad are we off here? Okay, so if we match that, so that's the seam, like matching down here. It's okay, but it's not perfect. Oh. No, don't look at those. They're terrible right now. You guys are just not about this YouTube life. Don't look at me. My nails are terrible right now. They're all short. They're not terrible, but they're just like, they're not growing much lately, which is really weird. Usually my nails grow all the time, constantly. But they've stayed this length for a long time now. I keep thinking I must be handling something that's preventing them from growing, but I don't know what it is. I started using Aquifer, and I thought that would be better, but it hasn't done anything, so. Like, I did it without, not because of this, but yeah. Now I mean my YouTube thumbnail. You guys. Oh my goodness. This doesn't match up, and that really bugs me. It's just this yoke. Oh my goodness, you guys. That's so funny. YouTube thumbnail. This thing. This thing. That thing. Do you know how much time I spend on those and you don't even notice them? You're looking at my thumbnails. I'm not going to the salon, so. Guys. Okay, collar. Are we you guys are so you guys aren't my competition, that's for sure. Are we leaving enough sewing for Saturday? Maybe I should leave the collar and the sleeves till Saturday. Is that okay? Because if I do the collar right now, I'll only be leaving the sleeve placket, cuff, armhole, under. Okay. What do we think? Yeah, right. Blair, I get that. Yeah. I love it when I'm standing next to him and then I notice one of my flat felled seams is coming undone. I'm like, thank you, Amy. What do you guys think? Should we do, maybe what I'll do is assemble the collar. How about I just assemble the collar and then we'll be ready to sew it on? I may be underestimating the amount of work with the sleeves and all that. I can't remember. Because it's in my head, I'm like, no problem, you know? But then I'm like, oh, we have the placket, we have the cuff, we have the flat filling of the armhole and stuff, but I don't know. Right, Adina? I know, it's so true. Terry voted that I put the collar together the other way, where I do the very last stitch under, like along this edge, rather than the base of the neck. I've never done a video for that. I just haven't had time to make those kinds of videos, and those are the things that, those are actually what pay me on my channel. I really should do more, but it's not the time. Okay, so I'm just going to trim down the seam of the width of it a little bit here at the collar point and here. I want to do my folding technique, but this is more of an angle, so I'm a little thinking that it'll be too hard to see if I fold it like this. See how that points up like that? So maybe we could round it. Let's try that. We do this and then this. If I go down, I'm only left with that little bit right there. I'm still left with a little bit. Maybe if I just clip it. Let's try that. Down and down. Still have that. So you might need to do the typical clip the corner. I don't like clipping the corner usually. I try not. Oh yeah, the hemostats. Oh yeah. I forgot. Okay, but if I finish the collar that way, oh yeah, I can. The hemostat would be great for this right now. Thanks. Thanks, Nancy. You guys never, ever comment on them. So I'm not expecting, like, you guys to pay attention to that, but I was just kind of curious if you'd noticed, if you've liked one style better than another. I just, like, go through phases of what I like, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I really hate this. Why have I been doing this? And then I try and go back and edit it and put the finished garment on there. Okay, let's go iron this real quick. I'm going to first just press the seam right here. Nice and flat. I've been using my little trash can to hold the salami. I need the trash can. Okay. All right, I'm gonna top stitch around the perimeter. Just gonna do that so it doesn't shift. All right, I have another question for you guys. What kind of pattern would you like to come out right now? Like what new sewing pattern are you really craving? Like, are you just like, there's not enough of XYZ, or I love making this one type of thing and I want a new one? I don't care if it's like seasonally appropriate or whatever. It can be something totally over the top. I want to know, what's your dream pattern that you would like to come out right now? I'm kind of curious. It can even be kind of general too. Men's formal. Okay. Oh, I would love that, Nancy. Honestly, I would actually love that. If they were sincere critiques, I would actually appreciate it. Like, I rate this thumbnail kind of mid. Imagine Nancy starts writing stuff like that. Oh man. Okay, we're going to attach this to the inner collar only. A men's formal overcoat. Gosh. Yeah, that just doesn't come out very often, right? It's so specific. What would I want? Oh, we didn't make the collar longer to go to that new notch. It goes to the original notch. Well, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Okay, I'm only attaching this to the inner collar. Wait a minute. This is the wrong side. I just realized. See you, Michelle. Sleep well. Yeah, that's dicey. $75 for a pattern. When you're just, you don't know, you know? It's not like it has a hashtag, right? Okay, so this is the, let's look at the collar. Let's try not to get turned around, right? So here is our collar. This is the outer collar. So this is how it would look on the body. This is the outer collar, right? And for this, this is my outer collar like that, right? We're going to attach this to the inner collar like that, okay? We're going to sew this on a little differently than I usually do. I've done this a few times lately when I've done these kinds of garments. And it's something that I just kind of want to get better at. I'm not bad at it, I don't think. I just don't do it as often. So I'm still looking for all the like what would make this the easiest way to do it, you know? And it takes me sewing it a bunch to be like, oh, you know what? I could change this about it, you know? All right, so we are going to here. Which is exactly where it wanted to go anyway. Okay. So now we're going to sew. Oh, do we want to label? I have this little cool like start for one of those micro quilt blocks. I think I'm going to use it as a label one of these days, you know? I think it's kind of neat. It actually could work with this. You know, like, it'd be like this. The, my label game is pretty much just vanilla these days. It's pretty much all I have. I really wish I would have done something on the thing now. Center square. Like this little perimeter here. I'd say it's about 1.25 inches. So I could actually take this off. This was the next row. And I don't know why I didn't go further with this one. I can't remember. But I think it's called Courthouse Steps. Tiffany will probably tell you. These are there's like this little mini, they're on the, yeah, see? Here's another one of these, right? Did a lot of work. I lost my mojo. They're really cool. Mini log cabin, thank you. The other one was Courthouse Steps, wasn't it? Oops, I just dropped it. Here's my other one. I did 3. So this is all like this, but it's just solid, or like one color. Courthouse Steps has equal size strips on each side. Oh, okay. Maybe this is Courthouse Steps. I don't know. This one is, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. It actually looks like courthouse steps. Yeah, they're really cool, Terry. They're a collaboration between Allison Glass and Juicy Juice. He, his last name is something like Juicy is spelled Giucy. Oh, neat, Donna. That's awesome. Yeah, they're really, I just use them as decoration because my local quilting friend was like, "You're doing that project that's so long?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Oh, shoot. Am I that typical beginner quilter that's like, give me the hardest project ever?" I was totally that person. I'm not going to cover it up. I think I want to put a loop here. You know? So this is scrap fabric. Like maybe right there. I have weirdly lost both of my rulers that sit there. It's not square. I'm looking for this square. Yeah. Amy's an avid quilter. I want to see two though. I love your waffle patterns pants. Those are awesome. Okay, that was too far away. I'm just looking for a place to cut. There you go. Okay. Again, I sewed this right sides together, not thinking. We got it to go last time, though. It just needs, like, once it catches, it's all gonna be fine, you know? Yeah, got it, all right. Let me press this just real quick. Okay, this time I'll stitch down the center. Since I wish I'd done that on that one. It would have helped if I had stitched that straight, but I didn't. Look at that. It's bad. It's really bad. I feel like my machine must have been pushed away or something. I didn't even notice that. I will compromise and allow a back stitch in the middle for making it straight. Oh, the bias bars. Well, the bias bars wouldn't, they wouldn't be for this. I mean for pressing. You said you learned to quote about, oh, double way. Oh my gosh. No wonder you just won We have an award-winning sewer in the chat today. Nancy has won ribbons at the fair. Thank you for, you know, gracing us with your presence, Nancy. That's really cool, Nancy. It just reminds you to get it. Oh, yeah, yeah. They're really fun. I should just let you borrow mine, Terry. Are they expensive? Like, they still sell them, right? I should just let you borrow mine. I'll just send them to Georgia. You know, like, you can try them out and see if you like them. All right, that looks better. It's not an even width, but at least the stitching's on the ends. Okay, so I love the way this looks stitched. It looks so cozy. Look at that. There's something about it. Oh, they're not expensive. Okay, good. Because I feel like mine still has the price on them. I feel like they were expensive. Bias. Have I shown you these bias bars, Blair? I'll show you. I know I'm moseying today and I like it. So they are, oh, they might be right here. Where are they? I didn't take those home. Here they are. Okay. They're kind of hard to explain. My price tag is faded. Okay, so bias bars. Maybe I could use this metal. I'll just use this as the metal. It's not wide enough though. I'll burn my fingers. Okay, so the thing with this is there was this like time when doing Celtic knots and things was like, it was like the latest thing. And you have these bars. And so what you do is I have 3 of them in here. Okay, let's just start with that. There were 2 sets. This is one set. And what you do is you take a piece of bias, right? I actually have a huge pile of bias. This was the bias I was supposed to put on my blazer. I'll show you how it works. Sorry, whoever's watching this tutorial. So this is like 1.5 inch wide bias, and I'll probably have to use the widest bias bar for this. Okay, we'll just try it. Oh, so you sew it wrong sides together like this, right? So I need this, I don't remember the width you're supposed to cut, so I'm just gonna sew this at a narrow thing here, right? So you sew your bias wrong sides together. Maybe I showed this in workshop. Because I have a book and everything. Okay, that's plenty, we don't need a lot. Okay. So now I'll show you what you do with it. So now you stick the bias bar in here. All right. And now you're going to center the seam along the back like this. You don't want it to show at all on either side, right? And now you press it. You're like, where is this going? Why do I want this? You probably don't want this, honestly. Terry does. Terry likes a gimmick, just like I do. Okay, so now your bias bar is bloody hot. I'm gonna press it one more time. Oh, this binding is so cute. So cute. Okay. Okay, and so now what you would do is stitch this in a design, and because of the bias, it will bend, so you can make it into Celtic knots and things. I will say the narrower ones will bend better. And you don't have to turn it right side out, right? You do have your little seam back there. And then you stitch it down, one on each side, like this. And people would hand sew it, right? So I have a book on Celtic knots, and you would use these. And it's really tricky, like going over, under, and making sure you get it all correct. So that's what they're for. That's all they're for. But I think they're fun to use just for anything, like stitching down on anything, you know? You don't have to turn it, which is nice. And it makes it nice and crisp. It's only for pressing. That's all it is. So that's what it's for. We'll just put that in there. A gift to somebody who wants to do that someday, that lives in this office. $3 entered the fair. That's great. Do you do too, Edina? That's awesome. Yeah, they're really fun. Like, I think for decorating things and stuff, you know, like you could do like a curvy line or something like that. Like, what if you wanted to do that like on a overcoat with, you know, black overcoat with like a red something. I don't know. You could just have a lot of fun with it. I don't know why it was so specific that right there, but okay. Anyway, we just moseying along here. Let's see, this is the inside, right? We're still on the inside. Yes, indeed, we are on the inside. Okay, let's put our little tag here. I like to make these so that the tag isn't scratchy then. I really like the way this looks. That. I'm just playing around with it. You know, honestly, I'm gonna go like this. Cover up that little blip of bad sewing. Can I make the green centered? No. If we can't have the green centered, we're gonna just do something completely off center then. All right. Put it way low, like that. Yeah, if he wanted to make the trim, yeah, he could. But he got all that really fantastic, like, gold braid. He bought that, I think, right? But yeah. Yeah, you can make all your own trim. Yeah, and it was like in the 90s that was kind of popular. I used it for, maybe this is why it came up, because we have been making quilt squares for Shem's new baby. And when I did a quilt for, like, my friends did a quilt for me when Cricket was born, and I did 2 squares for mine, like the regular one, and then one that I did for her name square. I wanted her name on it, and I did a Celtic knot on there, and wrote her first name, which is 3 letters long, and that's where I got. That's what her quilt looks like to this day. So, but I use the bias bars for that. Yeah, right? Someone must, Terry. We are being silly about this. there's got to be something like that, right? Or I just want something thin and sharp and doesn't get hot. Maybe silicone? Blair says she has something. All right, so this is the inside. We are going to, we could sew this a little bit more. Yeah, we are. We're actually going to do this. We're going to sandwich this. Right? Can't remember. Yeah, I want to try them though. I'm like hesitant. All right, so this is the inside of my shirt. And this is the little assembly I just sewed, right? So we are doing this sandwich. So we have the outer collar on the outer neckline. And we're going to do a sandwich, but we're not going to do just a straight up sandwich. Do a little different. What do you usually use, Terry? Do you using you can use paper, you know, like you're using cardboard boxes, right? Like I used to just use manila when I would work somewhere where we had some template. We always did for but I wasn't the one sewing them. I just did it for when I would have to do a sample for my own things. I don't know what it was though. Oh, really, Nancy? That's awesome. Well, you might like the bias bars. They're really fun. There's 2 sets. That right there is I feel like it's the 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch set. I don't know what the other one is. You had them in and out of your Amazon cart. Just need a wish list, right? I love that Loki doesn't know the sound. The door makes a chime because we have like a security system, and it makes a chime every time it opens. Sometimes I don't hear it back here, but he doesn't know that that's what that means. Otherwise, he'd be out there like, hello. Specific gadgets are the best gadgets. I agree. I'm not very much a gadgety person, but the more I sew, the more it's just more of an entertainment thing. I have almost bought things just for the stream, and then I'm like, do we need to do that? I wouldn't mind doing that one stream we did where I had you guys all send the hacks, sewing hacks, and then I debunked them or see if they worked. I wouldn't mind doing that again if you guys could come up with more of those. That was really fun. It was funny and fun. The prep for that stream was epic though. Like I was like looking for a plastic straw, something we do not have in our life. Like my husband worked somewhere where we made metal straws. He was like, you need a plastic straw. I was like, I'm sorry. Okay, just pinning this around. So we're gonna sew this along this, but the other thing we're gonna do with this method is I'm gonna fold back this placket out of the way here, and we're gonna try and sew as much of this curve as possible. Now, the trick with this is not distorting it because you're going to want to go as far as possible. Don't force it. You'll end up taking it out, and this area is kind of fragile, right? So let's move this pin. Honestly, we should just get this neck on, and then we'll do that part next because I think it's better to keep it, it'll keep it nicer. I feel like I'm easing my neckline a little bit in there. All right, we're just gonna start. That was fun, yeah. Yeah, you're in good company with these two, Adina. Nancy's like, we need more sewing gadgets. Did you get the silicone hemmer by Generates, Nancy? Or do you already have something that fits the bill? I think hers is kind of cool because it's for like curves. I'm not trying to promote her or anything. It just came across my feed, and I like that she's, you know, I feel like a regular sewist that likes to invent things, and I can completely relate to this. Like, I love supporting that. I wish I could just invent things and sell them as products. My neckline is a little different because I changed the fit, so I can tell that's why I'm a little bit trying to line things up and stuff. Funnily, I thought the collar was going to be too big, which is harder to deal with when your collar is larger, but it's the neckline is a little bit larger. It's a lot easier to deal with. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to deal with. Well, do I think that? All right, let's check it over. This is the inner. No tucks. Okay, let's look at the outer. All right, so now we're going to fold back our placket here and our collar. And we're going to try and sew as much of this curve together as possible. I like to try and get onto the collar if possible. This collar is set really far away from the center of this collar stand, strangely, so you might not be able to make it. Don't force it. It's not going to be a big deal. So I would try and find a place where you're like, okay, I want those two spots to match up so that you know that you're not just distorting this curve, right? So I'm going to pin that, and now we're going to do this side over here. So again, I'm going to fold back the placket out of the way. This collar stand's really tall, so there's a lot more space in here. When I've done collar stands, when I've decided to do this on collar stands that were like 3/4 of an inch finished, I had regrets. So. All right, so it's going to go up and as far as I can. I, of course, pinned both of these on the wrong side. I want to pin it on this side. I want it so that I'm starting from the neck and going up. So I'm not putting that in my mouth. I don't know what I was about to do. So I'm just trying to line up this curved edge without distorting it right now. It looks like my collar stands are different. I think I cut one on the cross grain. All right, let's see how well we can do. We're going to try and go right alongside the placket too. So this is the collar, this is the placket, just crumpling them up. I'm letting it know who the boss is. It's me. Check it before you do anything. Like, that's a pretty decent curve. I'm happy with that. Okay, and then let's do our other side here. You don't want to accidentally sew that crumpled up placket in there. All right. Let's hope it's loose. Yeah, it's still loose. There's my placket. Let's check the other side again. Make sure that thing was loose. Yep, loose. I might be able to get closer to my placket. Just a skosh. Okay. So now we're going to trim this down a little bit. I think I'm going to trim this down because buttonholes. Oh, wait, you want to clip into this curve. Oh my goodness. Don't forget to do that. Lots of clips. The more clips, the better the curve, right? So lots of little clips in this curve here. The unsew machine. This is the right side, okay. All right, so now the last step will be to just slip that collar in there and edge stitch it closed. And then the collar folds over this so you don't see it. And that's why I try and get onto the collar right there. Okay, let's try this one here. I think if I did a tutorial about this, I would come up with the ideal dimensions for this. Number one being 1/4 inch diameters. But the ideal, like don't go below this collar stand size, you know, like finished size. This one's a nice healthy collar stand, so it was gonna be an easier road no matter what. Just gonna stick my awl inside and sort of try and straighten out some of the folds in there. Because you know how sometimes they get crumpled in there? I think it's okay. I think the right here is not making me very happy at the corner here. And the more I pull it out, I might be making it not worse, but not better. Okay. So let's see here. Have I worked on this side? I think I have not. All right, so now let's go press it. Yeah, it's okay. There's a jog. I think I can do a lot better than that. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. And that's why I'm putting them all in here. So yeah, so I think turning this a little differently, making sure you sew right there, you know. It's gonna be fine in some ways, but I think it could be a lot better. All right, so this is the inside, this is the outside, okay. So we're just gonna press this up. I think either method has its pitfalls, you know? If the other method drives you crazy and you just feel like it's never good enough and you're like, oh, this is the way to go, well, the tricky part with this one is exactly that, like getting your collar stand to line up there, which is hard on the other one too. So maybe in some ways this is easier. Plus your neckline is finished, right? You don't have to worry about this. This is the outside of the garment, but like I said, you're going to fold the collar down over this right here. So there's that. I don't think I did a good job matching my plaids. I thought I did. Maybe they're better on the other side, hopefully. Okay, I need some more pins. I am still here. This is my last thing. I said earlier, I was like, I've been going to enough workshops and social, like because I think of socials now, I'm seeing more of you regularly and it's more like chatty and relaxed, right? Because we go to socials on Sunday, that streams feel a little awkward and quiet. Which is funny. Here we go. So this is the last thing I'm going to do right here is just stitch the collar down. Yeah, my streams might be a little longer just because, like I said, I'm trying to make this my, like, fun sewing stuff I do with people. So I've kind of earmarked the whole day for it. I can't stream the whole day. I get too hungry, but, you know, for as far as, like, prep and everything, I try not to give myself any other obligations. And today I think I'm going to go home early and work on this test sew for Sew Liberated. Because it sounds fun. Are any of you thinking about doing that garment bag from Kate and Naughton? The one on Etsy I was talking about yesterday? Oh, I would love to hear what you think about doing it this way, Terry. I need to do the same thing, actually. Maybe we could do it together sometime because I would like to come up with the most ideal technique to do this. The first time I tried this, God, I was probably in my 20s. So, because I remember thinking, like there was no YouTube, right? So someone had just said, which way do you do your collar? Which way do you finish it? And I was like, what do you mean, which way? Is there more than one? Is probably how that the conversation went down. I don't remember. And I think they were trying to, you know what it is, you guys? It's because I have been a committed non-hand sewer since I was born. Except when I thought Snoopy's girlfriend Belle needed clothes, and I used twisty ties and a little bit of stitches to get her some clothes. But anyway, I think they couldn't tell how I had finished my collar, not because the sewing was stellar. They just didn't, they were looking for hand sewing and they couldn't see it. And I was like, and same with the yokes. Back then, everyone hand sewed their yokes, and I did it my little taco method. And I know you guys are thinking, oh, you're just bragging. No. I hid the fact that I did this because it was not smiled upon. And the sewers in my life that I came in contact with the most regular were much, much older than me, probably my age now, and a little bit more, let's say, difficult. I think you know kind of that person, right? So I didn't want them to know I wasn't hand sewing it, because I wasn't about to, because it would have been the whole, well, you're going to get a better finish if you hand sew it. It would have been that whole stinking argument about how superior hand sewing is. But the fact that she couldn't tell secretly made me go, okay, but see, you can't tell, so I'm okay, right? So then that's when she was like, oh, are you doing it here or here? And I was like, oh, I didn't know about that. And so I went home and I tried it because I was like, wait, what is this voodoo she's talking about, you know? I'm going to shut my blind a little bit. My car parts are ready finally. All fancy blinds. Oh, interesting, Terry. So there was a shirt that had instructions for this. Oh, I would love to see their instructions for it. Oh, and see, I don't know how he does it, but massive respect to David Coffin, of course. I should probably pick up one of his books. Okay. So here we go. And I'm going to go, or I'm going to start at the back and go all the way around the collar stand. So we're just going to make sure nothing looks fishy and make sure this doesn't flip up, right? And yeah, that's it. Need a place for pins. These little wooden cups this gal made me are so handy. I love them. This is, by the way, this is Chihiro, and the white one is Haku. Is Susan here? Oh, yeah. That method is good. I like that one too. Her Pakistani friend. Terry's on a first name basis with all her YouTubers. Okay, so we're gonna clean this up a little bit. But you can see how if I had been able to go all like onto the collar a little bit. See, this is why I really don't like back stitches. And these scissors have a little spot in them that doesn't cut, so. There's another thread. Okay. I was kind of sad that yesterday's fitting stream really discouraged a lot of people. That's like the opposite of what I want to be doing. If anything, it should encourage you because you probably won't have quite the number of adjustments to do that I did. And you'll be like, ha, I'm already done. You really should. That's awesome, Terry. I remember Ray said once, I just have your streams going on 2 devices or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. You guys don't have to do that. It's okay. It's very sweet though, but it's a lot to manage on your part. I'm pulling very firmly, by the way. The seam's already sewn down here, so I'm not too worried about, you know, like this little pinned area here, right? We're on a seam that's sewn. Okay. Oh, look. This just stay stitch right there. Let's see if we can. I don't like that I didn't catch that. When Cricket decided to stay the night at her own house last night, so she left my house really late at like 9-ish or something. And I said, all right, will you do me one favor though? Will you turn the lights off in the cottage and shut the door? Because I had like opened it up for her, like air, like cooled it off a little bit. And I turned the lights on the inside, not the outside, so that the bugs aren't waiting for her on the porch. And she was like, oh, I'm scared out there. I'm like, you used to live in there. What are you afraid of? And she's like, what's out there? And I said, but the coyotes don't show up till like 10:30. She's like, no, I'm not going out there. I was like, I thought that was an encouraging thing to say. And I realized I didn't mean like they're going to show up at the cottage. They're just, I don't hear them anywhere near us until like 10:30ish usually. And I was like, okay, fine. So I went out on the steps and watched her. It's not far. Like, it's not far from my front door. It was really funny though. She was nervous. This is a girl who beat back a family of raccoons in her underwear on a nightly basis and trained them to stop going to her cottage. I was like, wait, you're the fierce one. In her pajamas, I should say. I've never seen the mountain lion. I've heard about it. It's close. It's walked down our street. I've never seen it. There's only been one time where I'm like, that poop might be a mountain lion. I think maybe that's it, Aisha. I think you're right. I don't know. I was recently fitting someone and I think they thought it wasn't going very good. And I thought it was going fine. And they were at their local sewing shop and someone talked to them about the value of like a sloper. And she was like, I think I'm just going to make a sloper. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of work. And I love slopers, so I don't want to discourage someone from doing a sloper. At the same time, it's 10 times the amount of fitting, right? And you have to know how to make patterns to use it. So, but you know what? If that's what keeps you interested in going, do it, right? So, You did fit this already? It looks good. So do I do 2 rows of, yeah, I kind of admit this in some ways seems a little easier. What do you guys think? Do you think this is easier this way that I just did? So this is the outside of the garment. I think that it looks nicer on the inside because this edge looks nicer. I think the method might be a little nicer. Like if I practiced it more, because look, like none of this is area that was open. Like right there it was, and you can kind of tell, but that's just my bad top stitching. I could probably fix this a little bit. Yeah, it is. And I think like, I think the good thing is like the pattern she had been fitting, I was like, well, the good news is like a sloper is kind of similar in silhouette. So if you do the sloper, you'll be really close to the silhouette of this garment, you know. It's a nice looking shirt. I did not focus on the plaid of where this ended up or where these ended up. I just made sure it was symmetrical, which looks pretty good. This is just, I just made sure it matched the center back. So that's how that ended up like that. Looks pretty good. I like the way this collar sits. It sits really nice. It feels really nice. This fabric is this mammoth plaid, it's moldable. I love it. The collar shape, very nice collar shape. I think this is tall. I think Michael's going to think this collar is way too tall. That's a very tall collar stand. It's probably a ½ inch taller at least. That is such a high collar stand. Huh. I hope he likes that. Well, we'll see. This is wearable muslin, right? Yeah, that's a good stopping point. We got a lot done today. There was a lot on this shirt. This is, you know, Shem really won me over on this one because I think if it hadn't had the back shaping, I probably would have just drafted this on Michael's shirt. But I was like, you know what? Let's just do this. This is great. And I hardly buy patterns, so I figure it's fine to do another company's pattern once in a while, right? Collar stand's super tall, though. It's so tall. Like, it's like 1.5 inches or more. Doesn't that seem tall? It feels nice. I used every piece of the fabric. I thought I was going to have like 3/4 of a yard left over. No. I accidentally cut one sleeve wrong, and then I ended up cutting 2 yokes out of that sleeve, that extra sleeve. So thankfully I didn't like do something crazy with it. But yeah, cool. All right, so then Saturday we'll sew the plackets and cuffs on the sleeves and attach the sleeves and do the side seams. Did I cut off the extra wet? Did I cut off the extra wet? Sorry, I probably missed when you said that. Seam allowance? Oh, on here? No, but it was, I used the 3/8 inch. It had 3/8 inch seams on the collar you're talking about, right? And I just used a 3/8 inch seam allowance, or a centimeter. It has centimeter seam allowances. I just stuck to that since it's close to a 1/4 inch. It makes this method that I did a lot easier, this tall collar stand. So if he likes it, that'll be a win. But do you see what I mean about where, look at that. That's way too far away. I don't like that. Okay, that's one thing I really don't like. Okay, I can't even look at that. Why is it way over there? That's where the notch was, though. It should be right here. It should be right here. The collar should go to here. The collar should go right here. It should line up where your buttons and buttonholes go. Oh, God. I don't know. I don't know why they would want that out there. I want to look at the photo real quick. Well, I'll look at it later. Sorry. I won't bring you guys down. All right. Anyway, I will see you Saturday. Hopefully, if not, have a great weekend. And in like a couple weeks, I'm going to be sewing men's pants using the Wardrobe by Me cargo shorts as a starting point. So I should not have looked at that. Yeah, I should not have looked at that. But you know what? As soon as I got to the buttons and buttonholes, I would have been like, it's like that on the photo? Is it really? But why? Okay, anyway. Lunchtime. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye. They don't even button it up in that photo. Suspicious.